Hello and welcome to Shades of Coding. Today our topic is what is coding. So let us see what is coding. What's a code? Code is a logic that is written in the form of symbols which makes it possible for us to create software, websites and apps. So basically we see that coding is the logic, and logic is like how you think to solve a problem. There can be many ways to solve a problem. Totally depends on how much you have understood that problem. So logic is coding and coding is logic. So the question is why to write this code. Code is written in the form of alphabets, punctuation marks, numbers, special symbols like a dollar sign, asterisk, hash, extra. So these are the symbols through the help of which we can write the code. So code is in your brain, but to implement it you have to use the symbols. Now we will see uh, the real example of coding later on, but to understand this we have to take the example of coffee. Suppose you want to make a cup of coffee. To make a cup of coffee you must have the logic how to make the cup of coffee. If you don't know how to make a cup of coffee, then it will become very difficult for you to make a cup of coffee. So to make a cup of coffee you have the logic, you have the code inside your brain how to make a cup of coffee, what are the basic ingredients that you need to make a cup of coffee. Let us see that what are the main requirements to make a cup of coffee. The first is the coffee maker, second is milk, coffee beans, coffee cup. These are the main essential items that one requires to make a cup of coffee. So you have the code inside your brain, but you need these things to make a cup of coffee. If you don't know how to use these things, then it will become very difficult for you to make a cup of coffee. So what these things come from? These things come from the kitchen. So we can say the kitchen is the main source which provides us the items, and we utilize these items to make the cup of coffee or other things. So here we learned the three things. First is that you have the logic, you have the code inside your brain that you know how to make a cup of coffee. Second, you know which type of items you require to make a cup of coffee. And the third thing, you know how these things you know how to use these things. If you don't know how to use these things, then you have to learn first then how to use these things. So if you have logic but you don't know how to use these things, then you won't make a cup of coffee. Or if you have these things but you don't have the logic, you don't have the code, you don't know how to make a cup of coffee, then you cannot implement your code because you don't have the logic, you don't have the concept of how to make a cup of coffee. So three things are essential here. One is the code, one is the logic that's inside you, that you know what you want to implement. Second, the items that you require to make a cup of coffee or to make other items or materials. And third, you should know how to use these things. Now we will see the real world example why to use these. The question is why to use this logic. There are many types of program languages software like MySQL, Visual Basics, Python, Java, C++, HTML. These are the basic programming software languages like the kitchen. Suppose assume that these are the different types of kitchens. MySQL is one of the type of kitchen, Visual Basic is another type of kitchen. But the main thing here is that you can implement your logic, your coding here and get your work done. To use MySQL, you should know how to use the elements or the items in the MySQL like the kitchen items. And if you want to make the programs in Microsoft Visual Basics, then you should know how to use the elements of Microsoft Visual Basic. Same is the case with Python, Java and different types of program language software. So these are the different types of the kitchens, or we can say the program software language that you can buy some of the free in the market. Once you understand these things, then you can implement the logic there. Now let's move to the another slide. I want to print hello world. Suppose you want to see the hello world on your screen. So there are different types of the softwares available, program language software that you have to learn. Then you want to see the hello world on the screen. Same is the exactly like the coffee maker, where you want to make the coffee. So you should know how to use the coffee maker. If you want to do make another thing like juice, then you should know how to use the juicer. Same is the case with the other things like the oven. So if you want to print the hello world on the screen, then you know that there are different types of the software available, but each one has got its own different command line sets. So in C, if you want to see the hello world on the screen, then C understands the print command, exactly like the button of the coffee maker, which understands that button and executes your work. Same is the case here. You have to write the print, then your logic. Here the logic is the hello world that you want to see on the screen, so it will understand the print word, and hello world will get printed on the screen. Same is with the Visual Basic, but it understands console dot write line. It understands this type of command. So logic is same, hello world, and it will appear on the screen. In Python you have to use the word print, because Python understands the print. In HTML you have to use the tags, because the HTML understands the tag coding. And in Java you have to use system.output.println. It understands this type of commands, and after that you have to write your own logic, that is hello world. Suppose this is the code, your code, and it will get appear on the screen. Hope that I have given you the basic knowledge about the coding. Thanks for watching.